Hey, friends! Cyborgs. They're a thing. Am I right? A staple of sci-fi movies going all the way back at least to 1927 with Fritz Lang's classic film, Metropolis. This time, I have a movie for you that features a cyborg and ray guns and mind control and time travel and all of that. We're talking about Cyborg 2087 from 1966. Our story goes like this. It's the future! You can tell because there are blinky lights. These people are about to send this guy back in time from the year 2087 to then present day Earth. See, he's a cyborg named Garth A7, and his mission is to find Professor Marks, a scientist who invented a thing called radio telepathy, and stop him from announcing the fact to some military guys. Apparently, this invention led to mankind being enslaved by not-so-good types who use radio telepathy and evil cyborgs to keep order in this totalitarian world. So the Resistance figures out time travel and is sending this cyborg back in time to stop all this from happening. He winds up in an old western ghost town because, of course he does. And he encounters an old coot he has to zap with a ray gun. Then the bad guys from the future send some killer cyborgs back in time to eliminate Garth. His ray gun can only stun people, and he can't kill anyone, but the bad cyborgs have death rays and would cheerfully zap to death anyone who gets in their way. Now Garth stupidly has a homing beacon implanted inside of himself, and he needs help getting it removed so these killer cyborgs can't find him. You'd think the Resistance would have done that ahead of time, but anyway, since he has to wait for this inventor guy, Professor Marks, to show up, he gets the professor's lovely assistant, Sharon, to help him. Naturally, the chick goes gaga for Garth, but she isn't really in love with him, no. She just thinks she is because she's been radio telepathized by Garth to do anything he wants. Where do I get one of those things? Still, she does seem to have a lot of free will. Her milquetoast boyfriend here, Dr. Zeller, can remove the homing gadget. The script doesn't seem too clear on whether or not he's a real doctor or just a guy holding a doctorate degree. Anyway, they need to go to him before doing anything else. Local law enforcement is puzzled by events going on and reports coming in. And this reporter for the local rag follows the cops around in his clown car trying to get a story. Does any of this sound familiar? Well, it should if you've ever seen The Terminator or Terminator 2. Pretty much the same story. What's up with that, James Cameron? Can Garth complete his mission and save the future from the evil overlords and their radio telepathy devices? Will Professor Marks see the danger his invention will create for mankind? And will these teenagers ever get to appear on American bandstands? In our cast, Michael Rennie plays the hero cyborg Garth A7. Although he was in a lot of things, he is forever immortalized for playing Klaatu in The Day the Earth Stood Still. Edward Franz plays Professor Marks, the inventor of the radio telepathy device. He was in tons of stuff, including the Ten Commandments, Hatari, and the original version of The Thing from 1951. Harry Carey Jr. plays the local reporter who drives the little clown car. Another familiar face, Wendell Corey, plays the town sheriff. And we have no less than 3 Star Trek alum here. The robo-hypnotized love interest to Sharon was played by Karen Steele, one of Mudd's women. She played Eve, the one Kirk fancied. Warren Stevens is here as Sharon's boyfriend, Dr. Zeller. He was Rojan in By Any Other Name, the episode where he and his fellow aliens turned the Enterprise crew into styrofoam. And Adam Rourke plays a deputy. He was uncredited, but he was in the original Star Trek pilot, The Cage. We also have Western character actor Chubby Johnson and Joanne Flug in her debut. She was in a bunch of stuff, mostly on TV, but I remember her best from Match Game. The thing about this movie is that it looks all the world like something made for television. So far as I can tell, it wasn't a TV movie or a failed pilot, but meant for theatrical release. But it sure doesn't look it. Everything about this one screams made for TV. The locations, the sets, the lighting and editing, just all of it. And the Western ghost town is straight out of a backlot they'd have used on Gunsmoke or Bonanza. Now, Michael Rennie was perhaps not in the best of health here. He died just 5 years after this movie in 1971 from emphysema. So, when he gets into a big fight in the Western ghost town with one of the bad cyborgs, they were obviously using a stunt double, one who I suspect looked nothing like Rennie. Because it's all happening behind the stalls. It goes on long enough that the device of hiding the stunt double's face becomes quite laughable. Look, this thing is odd and very much a product of its time. It's a far cry from the day the Earth stood still, and that's for sure. And it has a cheap quality to it, on top of the made-for-TV look. But it does have its moments. Rennie could be very good and had a great voice, not unlike Ronald Colman, so he was always a joy to listen to. The cast is all trying to make this thing work, too. It's on a par with sci-fi TV projects from this era and has that look. So it does have a bit of goofy charm in that regard. Kino Lorber put this out on DVD and Blu-ray, but sadly it's out of print at the moment. So I'm giving Cyborg 2087 2 paws up, I guess. It's not great, but it's not god-awful either, and worth a watch if you enjoy stuff like this from the 1960s. You take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.